There we go.
Male or female, it makes no difference. I stop the world. World, stop. Carry on. Welcome to the Real Drunk Show. This week, Caitlyn Jenner stopped the world with her Vanity Fair cover. Today, we're talking everything transgender. We're going to get started with our introductions. Who wants to go first?
Who is Caitlyn Jenner?
What's her name? Is that not her name?
I thought it was Caitlyn.
It was.
Oh.
We've been drinking already, y'all. It's cool.
Oh, my bad. I hate messing up people's names. Caitlyn Jenner is her name. I apologize. Damn. Okay, who's gonna do these introductions? Ray, your mic is muted. I don't know if you did it on purpose.
All right, I'll start. I'm Angie. Coming to you from Detroit. I'm drinking Angry Orchard and also a Honey Jack Chaser.
Shanoya, go.
Damn.
Hey, well, I'm Shanoya. I'm in Birmingham, Alabama, and I think it's just about done, but I had like a little vodka spritzer, little Perrier vodka, nice little fruit mix, but I've turned this up now, so.
Next up, Ricky.
Hey, Ricky from Greenville, South Carolina, and I'm drinking a little amaretto sour.
Oh.
Yeah, I had to go get this because liquor stores in South Carolina close at 7.
Oh, shit.
It's rough.
The fuck?
Oh, wow.
On a Friday?
On
Right.
every
Tuesday.
single day of the
Damn.
week, they close at 7 p.m., so y'all pray for my strength in the Lord.
Okay, next up is Ray. Go.
What's good, y'all? I'm Ray, and I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, Michigan. Well, not really the middle of nowhere. Just 20 minutes from the city, 20 minutes from Detroit. I'm drinking fake beer. Don't ask me why. I can't drink real beer right now, so I'm drinking fake beer. It tastes good. I'm not going to be drunk.
Oh.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, and I am Kia. I am drinking Angry Orchard Hard.
Yes.
Do not tell me that this is not beer, because this is my beer, and I hate when people tell me that this is not beer. It is beer, so shut up.
That's real.
I also, as a backup, I have my Hornitos Lime Shot Tequila, which I was drinking last week. Angie, why are you shaking your head like that?
That shit is going to tear your throat out. You know that, right? You aren't going to have any throat. Like, all of this is going to be gone. Because you can't leave that damn devil juice alone. That's fine, though. That's fine.
You're a minister of the word. Is this devil juice?
What are we talking about tonight?
See?
You just gonna change the subject like that?
Listen, I'm a fan of anything anything that gets you there, that does it for you. It works for me. Bless them.
Okay. So before London was supposed to be joining us today. London had a little situation come up, so she may show up, she may not. If not, we will definitely have her on at another time, but we're going to keep the convo going. Before we get started, though, June is Black Music Month. What's your favorite song right now?
Oh, Jill Scott, Fool's Gold.
Oh, so you hoe topping? Hoe tipping? Hoe topping. Hoe tipping?
Yes, I'm doing both. Just kidding. Just kidding.
No, you're not. Ray, what's your favorite song right now?
Throw some more. Whatever the fuck. That Nicki song. That's my shit.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
is that a race murder?
yeah,
It
the
is,
drummers
yeah.
backwards. That shit. Them.
Yeah.
Race them.
Ricky, what do you have for us?
My favorite song right now is the song I listen to before I preach any and every Sunday is Young Thug Flex.
That's not Young Thug. That's
I
Ricky.
mean, Rich Homie Quan. I get them mixed up. Hell, they all from Atlanta and they all speaking,
The
such
same.
all these cadences they speak in. The they all mix me up. And I'm also a big Migos fan. Listen, right after I listen to Flex, I listen to Fight Night because I'm gonna knock the Saints out. I'm gonna hit them with a left and hit them with a right.
Flex.
Oh.
That's real shit.
What's your favorite song?
So y'all are gonna talk about me again. I know Angie is, but I just found out about the No Flex Zone remix, so I've been having it on repeat. I don't want to hear it, and I don't. No, I don't.
You know what? No, you're in Birmingham. I'm not judging you.
I can hear.
I heard it.
Birmingham radio.
Oh, I don't know we could.
How? Okay. Shania, you said that
I'm here for it, Angie.
Okay, all right. Shania is living in 2013. Is that what it is? Shania knows where the time machine is kept?
No, that's right.
So
We got a menstrual line, and the Lord said love in spite of, so I'm going to let you judge me and turn the other cheek. I'm just going to let you do it.
So song is Trey's song. I usually don't like his yodeling ass, but slow motion is everything.
That's the shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I like that too.
when the song comes on the radio, I pull out my phone and I make videos of myself while the song is on. So,
Is it on Instagram? Can we get a link?
not yet. I'm waiting to do a good one. Are you judging me, Aaron?
Yes.
Probably. Likely.
All right. So, I'm sorry. I'm trying to respond to people who are like, "Are y'all starting late?" Yeah, we did. We're just not getting it. But let's.
I figured that happened.
So, Caitlyn Jenner, formerly known as the all-time, like this great Olympian Bruce Jenner, was on the cover of Vanity Fair. What was your reaction when you saw the cover? What was your first thoughts?
Damn, she look good as fuck.
That's what I thought
Right.
too.
Right, I thought she was
Yeah.
absolutely fabulous.
And I was surprised because I was worried about her because Bruce was kind of funny looking.
That's real.
Yeah. Even in his prime, he was funny looking.
The first thing I thought when I saw it was Caitlyn got that eye fixed.
Patty.
Petty wop.
I was like, I'm glad because in the interview it kept moving.
Oh.
So I was glad. But, no, she looks fantastic.
Okay. Hold on. Someone has an echo. I don't know if there's another computer on in the background. But there's one somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm turning mine
I think that was it.
on. Okay. So, what does that mean for transgender people in general? Caitlyn being on the cover of Vanity Fair.
Provides more visibility, but I think we still really have to be careful because that's just one name. It's like,
Can y'all hear Shania? Is it just me?
you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you? Okay. I would say I just think that it's wonderful. Obviously provides like a really good platform for visibility, but I think we have to be careful because that's just that one narrative. Like, and of course, Caitlyn, Laverne Cox, we love them both. They're both fabulous. They're both doing a lot for trans advocacy, but they often recognize that they're on a very privileged side of things. So as great as it is, I think we still have to be careful to not let that like define trans people's experience as a whole. There's a hypocrisy that's still on the rise that we got to do a lot of work for. So that's my take.
That's one thing that Caitlyn brought up when she did the interview on ABC was how, especially trans people of color, they still have a really difficult time, and transgender women are being murdered on a regular basis. So how do we use her platform to bring attention to these other issues that don't get that mainstream acceptance or even attention?
I think maybe, I don't like to tell people to do, what to do with their money, but she got a lot of fucking money. And maybe if she donated to some orgs or something or started her own, she could start her own. Rich people donate to shit all the time for a purpose of tax write-off. Even in that way, at least somebody would be benefiting, besides her.
Do you think that she will take this up as her cause, especially with her bringing it up kind of randomly? Like, no one asked her about specifically about black trans people, but she brought that up on her own. So do you think that will be part of her platform going forward?
Honestly, no. She brought it up, which was cool, but I really don't think that she's really about the activist life, and that's not necessarily bad. Everybody's not an activist, and I think that we get caught up when people are, people come out and shit, and it's like, oh, now you're an activist. You have to want to be an activist. You know what I'm saying? And I feel, just from what I've seen, I think she's just trying to do her thing, trying to live her life. She got money. Okay. She has a status. She's just trying to live for her, and that's cool, I guess.
One of the words I learned in college, I didn't learn much because I didn't go to class often, but one of the words I learned was intersectionality, right? And so in watching her interview, the thing that stuck out with me the most is that she still votes Republican, right? This party openly oppresses people of color, people who fall outside of this heteronormative or hegemonic male box or whatever. So even her coming out and being comfortable in the skin she's in, I don't know that it necessarily does a lot for people who fall on the other end of the spectrum, the poor trans people, the trans people, who aren't going to be on the cover of Vanity Fair. And I don't know that she's really seeking to change it. And she has a right to vote however she so chooses or support whoever she chooses. That, I can't stop that. But I think that was very interesting that she openly supports a party that openly oppresses.
Okay,
that's a great point.
Intersectionality. What is that?
An interesting.
To me, isn't it fitting in several boxes at one time? That's the way I look at it. I don't know.
I just learned the word. I didn't learn what it meant.
Fair enough.
Fair
enough.
And
that's what it is.
And we talk about it on Twitter a lot when we get into this whole feminist debate. Like, am I a woman or am I black first? But it's one of those things where you can't choose. I am black. I am a woman. I am of a certain socio-economic background. And I am of a certain, I identify as the gender I was born. I identify as heterosexual, although Angie tries to debate me on that all the freaking time. But all of that comes to who I am.
Right. And it's equal, all of it. I'm
it's
assuming.
equal. You can't
Yeah.
rank those. You can't rank those experiences. All of those experiences come together as one equally to make you who you are.
Right.
Exactly.
So,
That's what it is.
Ray, you are a trans man, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so tell me, when did you know?
Oh boy. When I was a baby, I don't know, 3, 4, before I was in kindergarten, I knew then.
How did you know? Like, what was that experience like? And let me make this clear. If I ask anything, or if anyone asks anything that you don't feel comfortable answering, just say I don't feel comfortable asking, and we will move on. It's that simple.
Basically in a nutshell, I just thought I was a boy. Like, it's really simple. I did everything that my cousins did, that my brother did. I tried to pee standing up. I wanted to go swimming with my shirt off. Like, I liked toys that were for boys, quote unquote. Basically, a lot of girls have that experience, like, and people are like, oh, well, she's just a tomboy. She'll grow out of it. And I just never did. And it was like, it's like, I just felt wrong, It just felt wrong. Like, my name, like my real name and all that, it never felt right. I never felt like I was who I was supposed to be. Anything that was stereotypically a feminine thing or something that girls should do, it just never felt right.
So, people have this. A lot of people have this idea that something has to happen to make you this way.
Right.
What happened to make you this way?
Nothing. I mean, as I said, when I was a kid, I felt all these different ways. But then, when you get into school and stuff like that, you get conditioned like, well, girls do this, boys do this, and you kind of try a little bit. I felt that I tried to do this and do that. It just never felt right. So once I got old enough, I started, dressing more and more and more masculine. And once I got to college, I moved away from home. It was like, fuck it. Like, I cut my hair, and it was like, boom, everything, like, switched up, everything in my closet, like, my deodorant, everything, like, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. So, when you started transitioning, who was the first person you told?
Well, actually, I haven't transitioned yet. I don't take tea or nothing like that yet.
Okay.
I haven't had surgery or nothing like that.
So, have you've had a conversation with your family?
No.
No?
No, the only people in my family that know right now, one cousin on my dad's side and one cousin on my mom's side. Not even on my friends know yet.
Really?
Yeah.
So
because the thing is, now I'm just accepting that I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? Before, it was like, okay, I'm a dyke or I'm a stud, whatever, like, that. And eventually it was like, but you're not, though. Like, you think, oh, if I just do this, I'll be cool. And then it's just like, the more you do, it's just like, it's not who you are. And it's like, I was comfortable. I was like almost there, like, oh, I'm a stud, whatever. I just dress like this. I'm a woman that dress like this. But I'm not a woman. So I couldn't keep hiding it or running from it. You know what I'm saying? So now it's just like, this is me. This is what it is.
So what was your cousin's reaction?
Well, my one cousin, he actually just came out and said that he's gay, and I didn't know at all. And we were very close. I had no idea. And he told me that me being out and being a lesbian and stuff like that and everybody knowing, like, inspired him to come out. And I had to tell him, like, I'm not even who I'm supposed to be. Like, I'm not even who I really am. And I had to tell him, like, I'm trans, and when I get the money, whatever, I'm going to take tea and shit like that. So his reaction was like, I knew that, but I wasn't gonna say anything, you know, like. But he told me he had an idea.
So, Ricky, you are our spiritual guide for the night. Is Ray going to hell?
Well, so that's a loaded question. In order for Ray to go to hell, I would first have to believe that a place called hell exists, right? And so I'm not saying I don't believe in heaven and hell. I don't believe there are places that you go. I have a problem accepting a notion of an all-loving God sending someone to hell for being who they are.
That's it.
Hey, how does that work?
That's it.
So if a hell exists, I don't believe Ray will be there. But when Ray is comfortable living as Ray, living, you know, however he feels like living, I believe Ray has reached heaven. So.
We love it.
By the way.
Go ahead.
By the way, just fun fact, I'm an atheist. Just throwing it out there.
So
Even if it was a heaven or if it was a hell to people, I really don't give a fuck anyway.
No. It doesn't. The transgender thing doesn't matter. You're just going to hell anyway. So
now Ray's going to hell.
Right. So if it was a hell, I'd already be there.
Yeah, so Ray's going to hell now. No.
Yeah.
Right. You know.
So, okay.
Tell me this, Ray. Have you always been an atheist, or is there a connection between you identifying or you being an atheist? Is there a connection with that? And I was going to ask the way people responded to you being transgender, but you haven't really come out to everyone.
The atheist thing, I was born and raised in the church, like most atheists tend to be. Like every week, choir rehearsals, sang in the choir, played the drums at the church, the piano, all that stuff. And then it just never seemed like it made any sense to me. And I was just like, and at that point I was forced to go. Like when I was a teenager, I was like, this is some bullshit and I don't want to go. But I played the piano and I made a lot of money doing it. And my mom was like, you better make your money and play for the Lord. And I'm like, I'll play, but okay, I would not pay attention to the service. Nothing. When I got to college, I'm like, I'm not going through this no more.
Listen, Ray, if you ever decide that you need some more money, you can come play for me. You ain't got to pay attention. Just be able to follow me when I get to the end and I need the people to shout. That's all I ask.
That's the easy part. That's the easy part. See, I still play gospel, though. That's the funny thing. I play in a gospel group. It's just not a church.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah, you ain't got to pay attention to nothing I say.
Yeah.
Just be able to back me at the end and we fine.
And where'd you say you live?
I'm from South Carolina.
Oh, wait, I don't know. Never mind.
I'm not going to be here forever now.
Ricky, you sounded real South Carolina when you came
really
and said that.
Listen, it's bad. I'm from the upstate of South Carolina, but I have a lot of family from the lower part of the state. And so when I go back down there, I start speaking, you know, a little bit of Gullah Geechee. And it's bad. It's rough.
So, anyone else want to jump in with questions? Because y'all know I talk all night.
Well, I mean, I think Ray mentioned like two very important things. I hope I remember them now, but I think one is the fact that there's this idea that everyone who identifies as transgender has the desire to transition, and that's not true. Like, you have this entire continuum of gender in which people can flow in between and among, and it's not necessarily when someone identifies as transgender that they want to fully transition. So I think that was point that Ray made. And now, dang, I forgot the other one. It'll come back to me later, but I just think that that's really important for us to remember, that these transgender identities are very fluid, and just because someone identifies that way doesn't mean they're wanting sexual reassignment surgery or to take hormones. Like, it just might mean that they don't feel like they were, or they fit into the lived gender experience that they were assigned at birth. And that's another thing. Like, people say the sex you were born. Well, really the better thing to say is what you were assigned at birth, because essentially sex is a social construction too, right? Like, it's a box we have to check. It's been defined for us before we can define it for ourselves. So I think that's important too. And I know what I was going to say. Ray was saying that he previously identified as lesbian, right? So we do find that trans men sometimes prior to transitioning or coming out in terms of their trans identity, they do, and sometimes bisexual, identify as lesbian. So once again, there needs to be a little bit more recognition with the fluidity that happens in between, right? Because everything isn't, I think, as fixed as we would like to. Like these binaries, these dichotomies, they're not that. There's so much color in between, and so we need to start to try to at least recognize that.
I'm glad you said that. On our relatively new website that is being built every week, we add like a page a week, realdrunkshow.com, we have a syllabus up for this week's show, and on that syllabus are terms that you need to know. And a lot of these terms that we're using, they may be a little intimidating, but thanks to GLAAD, which is, what does GLAAD stand for? Do you guys know?
Gay, lesbian, da.
She said the only letters I knew. Gay, lesbian, AAD.
Yeah, I forgot what the AAD stands for. If you're watching
defamation, anti-defamation, something.
But they are basically an advocacy group for, we'll say queer people. Does queer cover, is that like the umbrella term for all of this? No, yes, maybe?
No, LGBTQI, elemental P, XYZ, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
I
always say LGBTQXYZ. So GLAAD is an advocacy group for LGBTQXYZ. And you can go on there and get some really, really good information, but they provide definitions for all of this, and they talk about how just because trans people can identify as heterosexual or homosexual, and it's a whole lot of layers there, but it's really good information that you should definitely read and check out, and you can find that on realdrunkshow.com and click under Drunk Homework, and you will see the syllabus and the terms and links to GLAAD's website.
And that's especially for all the ashy niggas on Twitter.
Yes.
For the people who can read, the ashy ones who can read, so all three of you.
There's a few and far between.
You know what? I have a question, Ray, because I got into a conversation with some ashy Negroes this week, and their question was, why not just be gay? I understand gay. Why can't you just be gay?
But they don't even understand gay, though, so...
Right. I was getting there, and she said it, yeah. They don't.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Ray.
No,
I hate niggas so much. Golly. So ashy.
Real. Why not just be gay? Well, number one, I already been there, done that, and it wasn't working for me. I guess people don't. I guess that's not people. I shouldn't say people. People who identify with with their assigned gender. Nothing that they have experienced in their life has been that conflicting. Like, it's one thing to say, you know, my parents want me to go be a doctor, but I really want to be a rapper. That's being conflicting, and you're being made to do something you don't want to do, but it's not like this. And I don't think there's anything in a cisgender person's life that is that conflicting, that eats you away like that. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. You're depressed, you're stressed and scared and worried, and that that people aren't going to accept you, that people are going to walk out and leave you, because I already came out the closet as gay, and it was a ruckus with my friends and family, and I felt alone and felt like I didn't have anybody, and a lot of shit went down. When I was in college, I stayed in Boston, in a city I had never been to prior to college. I stayed there for 3 holidays in a row. Wow. A 19-year-old that has been with my family every Christmas. I didn't go home for Christmas, Thanksgiving, nothing. So, I mean, that was just me coming out saying, oh, I'm a lesbian. Like, but this to want to physically alter my body and take testosterone and shit like that, that is a confliction inside you, and they'll never understand how that feels. So it's like, I can come out and be who I want to be, and I'll deal with the bullshit later, or I can just keep it inside and just be somebody that I'm not, and constantly be depressed and unhappy that I can't be happy.
So, I mean, if you would like to, you don't have to. Do you want to talk to us about a little of what your experience was like when you came out as a lesbian and how that stops you from wanting to have this further conversation? Because I think a lot of people don't understand the stress, the pressure, the anxiety that comes with all of this. And so it's very easy for them to say, oh, just shut up, just be this, just be who makes me comfortable, without understanding how it affects the person who is struggling with, who's having this internal conflict.
Let's see. I mean, I kind of just told you, like, you know, some of it, but I mean, it's like, basically, I broke the internet, and how I broke the internet was I had already, some people already knew that I liked women and stuff like that, but I could still get away with the, oh, she's just a tomboy thing. But I cut my hair. Like, I had a big-ass afro, and I cut that shit to a fade. And it was lined up and shit. And I posted the picture on Facebook. I didn't tell nobody else cutting my hair. One friend knew out of all the people I know. And I went to my homeboy, and he cut my shit off. And even the people that I was, like, friends with in Boston didn't know. Like, I literally walked up on niggas with a fade one day. And it was like, and then I posted the picture on Facebook, and it broke the internet. It broke the fucking internet. All my family started acting a fool. Everybody started calling my mom, calling my brother, like, did you see what she did? Why would she do that? My mom was all upset, and it was bad. It was really bad. When I actually called my mom to let her know, because she doesn't have Facebook. So right before I posted the picture, I was like, let me call my mom, tell her, and then I'll post the picture. Well, when I called her, I told her what happened. Basically, she got mad and hung up. So that's just one little part of it. It was a lot of shit after that, but, you know.
Had you come out at that point, or was it just the picture that they were responding to? Like, I don't...
Well, like, all my friends knew, and, like, my family, most of my family knew. But it was kind of like, I guess they thought it was like, oh, just a phase or just some bullshit. But once I cut my hair, it was like,
oh, she for real.
Everybody's going to know now. What do we do? Like, because, you know, like, a lot of people in my family are about, like, appearances. Like, okay, well, you're this way, but why do you have to be out in everyone's face with it? Like, why do you have to dress like that? It's like, but why do I have to? So I can be gay. I just can't. People just can't know, or they can't see me and know. Basically, that type of bullshit.
You know what's interesting to me is that when someone is gay, everything they do is a reflection of their sexuality, right? The way you walk, oh my God, you don't have to flaunt your sexuality. Like, you know, you say, I woke up this morning. Well, dang, you don't have to be gay when you wake up. But when you're heterosexual, you know, I've sat in classrooms and in dorm rooms and in cafeterias and listened to guys literally live vicariously through their closest friend's penis about what he did with a girl last night, and no one says you're flaunting your sexuality.
That's true.
Yeah.
So interesting to me.
Well, I have a question for you, Ray, just because you were talking about your experience with coming out and the difficulty that is in every day and living the trans experience, trying to embody that and knowing that you have conflicting, like, lived experience versus the sex you were assigned at birth. And so a lot of people are arguing that Caitlyn isn't brave, like, nothing courageous about what Caitlyn has done. If you want to see real heroes, then you should look at those people in the military. So, like, how do you feel about that? Because when I look at Caitlyn on that cover, when I look at Caitlyn give that interview, like, I don't see anything but brave. And so, like, what do you think about the people who are saying that isn't brave, that doesn't take courage?
I think it's bullshit, because, as I already said, you would never know what it's like, so you wouldn't think it's brave. Because to you, it's just, oh, you just being gay, you just being a fag, or whatever, you know, whatever bullshit they say. It is courageous in this world, like, the opposition that people get, the way that when you're visibly I don't want to say that. I don't want to be problematic. When people can look at you and they assume that you're gay, or they look at you and they assume that you're trans because of your appearance, that is a big fucking deal. Like, there's nowhere I go without people looking at me fucking crazy. Now, sometimes that's because I'm black and I'm around white people. But most of the time it's a combination of the two. When I'm around black people, it's because, who is this dyke bitch? What is she doing? Blah, blah, blah. You know, they look at me like, she a dyke and she got her hair like this. Like, everywhere you go is some bullshit. People are automatically uncomfortable by you. My part-time job right now, I work with kids. People are looking at me crazy when I'm trying to talk to their kids. And I'm like, I mean, well, what do you want me to do? Like, do you want me to go grab somebody else? Because if you want to be a dickhead, I won't help your ass. Like, you know, like, I've had people misgender me on purpose. Because although I'm trans and I identify, you know, with he and him, they don't know that. They look at me and see a dyke, and they'll call me he and him and sir on purpose just to laugh. Like, I was dealing with a customer at work one time, and it was a lady and her son, and he was like 11 or something, and he kept calling me him, he. Excuse me, sir. And every time, like, I go get something for them, they be like chuckling, and I heard his mom say, "You so stupid, you so stupid," like, stuff like that. You know, like, I was out with some friends like recently, and our waitress and other people that were like around us were like pointing at us because one of the young ladies is trans and she's tall. And they were like all in her grill, like they had moved over behind us to like stare all in her face. Like, it was so bad we had to leave because the waitress was doing it with the other employees too. So it was like, I've never seen anything like that happen to straight people or cisgender people.
Right.
Yeah,
Like, you can't exist in a public space.
You brought up two things for me. One was, you mentioned you work with kids.
Mm-hmm.
How do the kids respond to you? Because a lot of the stuff that you hear people complain about is like, well, how do I explain transgenders to my kids? Like, how, you know, Vanity Fair has such and such.
Can y'all hear Angie?
Yeah.
Yeah, kid, damn. What?
Oh, no, I couldn't hear you. You went mute on my end. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I can hear you.
So part of it is like, how do I explain this to my kids? How do the kids that you work with, how do they respond to you?
Sometimes they're just like, hey, whatever.
Like, hey, bring me my fucking juice. Like, what the fuck? Right?
A lot of times they act weird.
You said they do act weird?
For the most part, yeah. Kids always look at me crazy. I don't blame them. Because if they're used to, okay, you look like this, you're a woman, you like this, you're a man, they're going to look at me like, So a lot of times kids are like, they look at me crazy. But the kids in my life personally, like my nephews and little cousins, like, they don't, it's whatever. You know, I'm just right to them, you know. Because my family hasn't taught them anything negative about me or anything, you know, because it's just like, that's your cousin. That's, you know, it's nothing to them. But if you have bigoted ass parents, which most people unfortunately do, who are probably sitting up at the house, these trannies, these dykes, blah, 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 of course they're going to look at me crazy because you see gay people and trans people on the TV and their parents is talking crazy. So, you know, you learn that. You don't come out the womb looking at people like that.
Right.
You're taught that. You emulate what you see your parents and people in your life doing.
I just wondered if they question you, like, how are they young? Like, are they little kids or?
All ages, because it's retail. I sell shit to little kids. I'm not going to say the job because it's the job, but I sell shit to little kids.
Oh, okay. The terrorists.
You know.
All right, I get you.
So it's like I only have to deal with them for a little bit of time and they're gone. It's not like I work at a daycare and I see the same kids every day.
Okay, I see. I got you.
So, how what advice would you give to parents on how they should deal with this issue with their kids? What conversations should they have?
I think it should be a very, very simple conversation because as much as adults complicate it, it is a very simple thing. You say she is a she. He is a he. Like it's and in the instance of a gay person, well, why is this man with this man? They love each other. Or, whatever. I don't think it's that hard. Now, mind you, I don't have kids, and I know it's probably people on Twitter like, you don't have kids, you don't know. You damn right, I don't fucking know. And I don't have kids. I don't like kids. They get on my nerves. Even my nephews, they get on my last nerves. I don't like kids. But it's simple. Kids are very simple. And kids understand a lot more than adults think they do. And adults are so worried about, well, what would the kids think? Honestly, I think that's bullshit. That's just an excuse. That's just that's their justification for hating gay people and hating trans people because we're different. Well, the kids, no, not the kids. The kids don't have the problem. Y'all have the problem, and you don't want to seem like a bigot, so you want to push it off on. Well, what about the kids? You don't care about the kids when you getting drunk and smoking weed in front of them and cussing and acting a fool. Y'all not worried about the kids then. But, because I walk down the street, now you worried about the kids. Okay, all right.
Well, I think I'm the only parent on the show.
Praise God, I don't have any that I know about.
And I don't like any know about her, but, it's kind of 15 years in, it's kind of late for a late-term abortion, so here we are. But, my whole thing, I just always told my kids that people are who they are, and no matter who people are, and also no matter whether you agree with them or not, because it honestly doesn't matter, you let people be who they are, and you accept them as people. Right. It's really that simple.
So I have a question for Shanoya, because you do research and work around this. What is this notion of agreeing? Like, what in the hell are you agreeing or disagreeing to? Like, when people say I disagree with your life, like, what are you disagreeing? What are you agreeing or disagreeing with or to? I don't get it.
I mean, well, essentially, you have to remember I'm working with those that are primarily allies and advocates, so I don't get much like disagreement.
Gotcha.
Coming into the public sphere and talking to folks that obviously are not trans or they don't have loved ones who identify as trans. Essentially, it just comes down to the social conditioning of what they've been taught is sort of the heteronormative model. There shouldn't be anything that falls outside of that. You're XX or XY, and if you're XX, your gender expression should be this. If you're XY, your gender expression should be this. So essentially, they're just disagreeing with what they've been taught, which they seem to realize has also been socially constructed, and they would have no concept of these definitions and these boundaries that they've set if someone hadn't taught them that it was supposed to be this way. So, I mean, essentially, it's just social conditioning at its finest, but no one ever stops long enough to say, why do I really feel this way, and what's really at the root of my disagreeing with someone living their lives and making themselves their best self and their happiest self. Like, how do you disagree with that?
Right.
Like, how do you, like, but essentially that's what I found, but maybe someone else has found different in their arguments with folks.
The whole idea that I have to agree on your life or the sex that you have or what you do it comes from a place of arrogance, does it not?
It definitely does. Because how do you feel like, I mean, if you think about how everything has been socially constructed, essentially it's all come from a place of arrogance and someone feeling that they have the right to define people essentially before people are even conceived. Because we start gendering children before they're even born. Like, we start speaking to them in certain tones, we start picking the colors, we start deciding and picking. So we tend to like start gendering children before they're even here, not even taking a step back to say we're buying into and perpetuating the same social construction. So it's like it's definitely very arrogant and coming from a very selfish place. Very much so.
It's almost like when people say, you know, if you want someone else to respect you, you have to respect yourself. Like, how in the hell do you shape what respect is for me?
Right.
Like, you can't tell me whether or not I respect myself. Like, you have no idea what respect means to me. Just you respect me because I have breath in my body, not because I fit into whatever you say, respect is supposed to look like.
And the key word in that is self-respect. Self.
Hey.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If Cat Williams was here, he'd say it's respect of your mother self.
Right. I remember when he said that, yeah.
If your child comes to you and says that they feel like they're in the wrong body, because kids, they're not usually not gonna say, "Oh, I'm transgender." They feel like they're in the wrong body, or they want to dress as the opposite sex as they were assigned at birth. What is the appropriate thing for a parent to do? What is the healthy thing for a parent to do?
Well, do you want to take it first, Ray, since this is like your lived experience?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know what you do. What do you do? I don't know. And that's part of the reason I don't want to have kids. Not to mention the first reason I don't like kids. Number two, I can't think of a reason that's unselfish to have them. Or what reason do I have to bring another life into this world? I can barely take care of myself. I can't think of an unselfish reason to have a kid. And then all this type of stuff, like, I don't know, what do I do? Like, I wouldn't know what to do.
So tell me this: you haven't told your mom yet, but what do you wish her reaction would be? What do you hope her reaction would be? In a perfect world, what would that look like?
Well, actually, I know I said the only people that knew were my two cousins. I actually did tell my mom 2 years ago when I was questioning it and feeling all these different things. I actually wrote about it on my Tumblr, the whole thing. I told her 3 years ago, actually, and she completely ignored it, disregarded it. She's good at that, being in denial about things. I guess she's probably praying to her God that I will change. I heard her say something like that before. She's like, all I can do is pray for you. I'm like, okay. I mean, in a perfect world, I wish that she'd say, okay, I got 3 sons, not 2 and a daughter. All right. That's not going to happen, though. I wish she'd just be like, okay, well, shit, let's do it,
Mm-hmm.
That ain't going to happen, but it is what it is. I'm not living for her.
Anyone else want to hop in there? What is the healthy thing for parents to do?
Love and support.
Yeah.
Simple. I mean, that's the simple answer, and I know it's so much more complicated than that, but that's essentially that's what we all want as human beings, love. And we want to feel like there's someone who is there for us in times of adversity, which is also connected to love. So the best thing you can do is love and support, and do your best to explain the ignorance of other people, right? Because you're never going to be able to do anything about that. Like, you're not going to be able to necessarily change what someone else is teaching their child in the household. You're not necessarily going to be able to undo this entire heteronormative gender structuring that we have in multiple social institutions that we encounter every day, but you can be loving and supportive to your child and do your best to explain that. So, I mean, that's really very simple, cliche, after school special kind of answer, but that's what the real answer is. You love, you support, you encourage the best you can. I mean, that's all we can do as human beings for each other anyway, but yeah, a lot of parents, you find, they don't take a loving and encouraging and supportive stance. A lot of them often will even kick their children out of the house, which we have a home here in Birmingham that steps in and takes care of those children. But yeah, it's unfortunate.
And also along those same lines is like, be courageous enough to love your kid, like, despite what other people say. Because I feel like that's the thing that puts parents on edge. It's not like, oh, my kid is gay, oh, my kid is transgender, oh, my kid is bi, or questioning. It's like, oh my God, like how am I going to explain this to my friends?
Yeah.
How am I going to explain this to the people at church? How am I going to explain this? It's that. And I think if parents would just be like, look, this is my fucking kid. I made it. I adopted it. It's mine. I feed it. If my daughter wants to be with other women, then she's going to be with other women. Or if my daughter feels like she's in the wrong body and she needs to transition, I hope I'm using the right language, but like if she feels like she's in the wrong body, like I'm going to support her because that's my fucking kid. You know what I'm saying? Like I think parents sometimes get caught up in other people's perceptions of them because now it's like, oh, you got a gay kid, you must be a bad parent. Oh, you got a transgender, son, you must be a bad parent. You did something wrong. Instead of just being like, yo, this is my kid. I mean, this is how I got him or her. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is their spirit. I'm just trying to guide it along the path. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I've had this issue with my family, so.
I think it's interesting because this whole notion that like you having a gay child means you failed as a parent. I know a bunch of my straight friends who it seems like their parents have failed. Not friends, but like guys I went to high school with that can't seem to stay out of, all kinds of stupid stuff. Seems like their parents have failed more than a lot of parents. I think something interesting that Ray said though, and answering your question too, Kia, is when Ray said that her mom was like she prays that it'll change, right? I don't have a problem with her praying. Her prayer doesn't need to be for Ray though.
There you go.
Her prayer needs to be for herself, right? So, and being a minister, and one of my things is I interpret the entire Bible, the entire text, through the lens of the gospel, and the red letters. Jesus talked a lot. People don't seem to read it, but I interpret it through that because that's the person that I acknowledge as the Christ and the example on how to live a life. Not everyone has to agree. I understand everyone doesn't agree. But if you read those red letters in there, he says that the greatest commandments are to love God with all your heart, your mind, and your soul. And then he says the second is the same as the first, meaning there's no difference. They're on the same level, to love your neighbor as yourself. So if you cannot love your neighbor, you cannot love yourself or your God. And if you cannot love yourself, you cannot love your neighbor or your God. They're all intertwined. You can't do one and not do the other. So I don't have an issue with her praying. I have an issue with her praying that God change who God made her son. You know what I'm saying? God said let us create them in our image and in our likeness. And if you had some theologians, they could definitely take that and say maybe God has different genders or sexualities or however you want to take it. But none of that is important. The only thing that matters is that you love. That's been the greatest commandment given. But is to love. Not to change folks, to love folks.
Right. So, can you please give out your PayPal so we can send you a love offering? Because I mean, if Creflo can have a jet, you can have a jet too.
We gonna put these nickels and dimes together and get you the flyest first class ticket to damn Atlanta.
I don't even need a jet. Just get me a Honda Accord. Because when they're all on
that'll be easy. All our followers put together, everybody just give $1. You have that.
I ain't asking for much. Click your dollar ask for $65 million.
The love offering. So what I will say is, as a parent of a teenager, human sexuality and development will tell you once kids turn like 12, 13, they lose their freaking minds. And what really happens is they start becoming their own person. And as a parent, realizes the person your kid becomes is not the person that you dreamed they would be when you were holding this little cute baby who did everything you said. And it becomes a thing, whether it's what they like, what they want to do, whether they play baseball, their sexuality, how they identify gender-wise. Oh, disappointment comes. And one thing I've learned that as a parent, you will be disappointed not in who your child is, but because your child isn't who you dreamed them to be. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what you have to do is let go of your dreams for them, because that's not your life. And you have to give them the room and the space to be who they are, and to trust the child that you have raised to be a good person, a great person, and to just be who makes them happy. And it is offensive as a parent for you to try to make your kid into who you dreamed them to be, especially when it is sacrificing their own happiness and wholeness.
Right. Right. Can I
That's
say
a
something
word.
about that? That's real.
Give me kid PayPal too.
I was talking about this the other day on Twitter, just like a little rant, and one of the things I was saying, if mental health was treated the same or was seen as important as physical health, people wouldn't expect or want or wish gay people or trans people to be someone they're not. That's a big problem, especially in the black community, because, well, if you're healthy, quote unquote, if you're walking and talking and you not dying, then you're okay, and you're not. And the mental toll that all those things take on you, keeping that inside, and all the injustice and things and discrimination and stuff that you deal with in the world, all that takes a toll on you mentally, which will start to take a toll on you physically.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, when you're depressed constantly and you're stressed out and anxiety is tripping you out, like all those things, they'll start to affect you physically. And people don't think it's a big deal because we're taught that, therapists, that's white people shit. Depression, that's white people shit. Just pray the gay away, pray the depression away, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Jesus will fix all that. And we push that onto people. And it's not healthy and it's not right. It's not a good thing to do. And I feel like if we took mental health seriously in our community, we would be more accepting of people, because we would say, hey, this is really fucking with you. And people and kids and adults can start acting out in certain ways because they can't be themselves. And we don't think about that either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Kids can start to be angry or, acting up in school, and it'll start affecting your whole life, really. And it does, a lot of different things, can cause people to act out if they can't express themselves, if they can't be who they're supposed to be.
And particularly with, like trans youth, particularly trans youth of color, trans people overall are at higher risk for suicide, higher risk for discrimination in employment, higher risk at discrimination in, housing, chronic conditions is something that we think that might really run the whole spectrum in terms of being at high risk, but because of, in terms of transgender folks, we've looked at them so much in terms of just HIV, STIs, and not all of the rest of the chronic diseases that affect people on a daily basis in their everyday lived experiences, that we haven't really been able to fully account for those. But yes, particularly with depression and suicide, at some point, and depending on how you're measuring it, like the risk is like 20 times that of a heterosexual youth who identifies in their, heteronormative gender. That's really problematic. You think if you have a youth who's at risk or 20 times higher risk of committing suicide than his peer who is heterosexual, living the heteronormative dream, that's really problematic. 20 times? That's insane. But we don't consider that. We don't think that that's a problem, all because folks aren't fitting into the box that we think that they should. So essentially, not the way we're looking at it is the problem. It's them falling on the margins. That's what the problem is. And that is a problem in and of itself. That's a problem.
Black Rainbow said, I need more ministers to be like at pants so short. when you said that Ray was in heaven for being himself, that made me so happy. I love him so much, and he deserves happiness.
Hey.
And, hold on, wait. Ricky's response was great too. Hold on, let me find it.
Well, listen, who is that? What'd you say, Black Rain?
Black Rainbow.
You need to send Black Rainbow. You need to tell us to the PayPal so we can get Reverend Ricky a jet. Okay, you loved it that much. Put your money where your tweets at. All right. We got to get him this Honda Accord.
Campaigning. Are we riding or no?
Oh, we riding.
Oh, yeah.
We riding now.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Black Rainbow though. I'm gonna follow you on Twitter, whoever you are. I'm about to go on there right now.
Well, is she pretty? What's going on?
Really?
I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Stop lurking on the followers.
Listen,
I'm just playing.
Y'all see me? Do I need to turn my light on?
We see you.
We see you.
You know what though? Like your hair and your face have a good contrast.
Yeah, it looks good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I
No, if I didn't get judged by Ange.
I said it looked good. See?
I think
Here's my question. When it comes to dating, and we see this comment come up a lot on Twitter, especially among the ashy demographic, there is this fear of being tricked, especially among men who may find a trans woman attractive, but they are afraid to say it because then they might not be a man.
ooh,
They may not be as masculine as
Get into it.
But also, y'all remember the catfish episode with Pippin D? And she had her lamb skin that she used to trick people. Do y'all remember that? Was that just me?
Of
really?
course, you remembered that episode, kid.
I was really upset about that episode because D was out here doing way better numbers than me.
But there is this fear of being deceived by trans people when dating. How do you handle that, Ray?
Well,
How should that be handled, I guess, to the broader audience, in your opinion? Go ahead, Ray.
well, first of all, since I'm not on testosterone and I haven't had any surgeries, like I said earlier, people just think I'm a dyke. So I don't have any problems dating currently. Now, once I transition and all that, I'll have a lot of problems dating. But as far as the tricking thing goes, that's bullshit. That is bullshit. I've been seeing a lot of these ashy niggas on Twitter going, we need to have a test. We need to blah, 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 because we getting tricked. This is the thing about disclosure, disclosing that you're trans. The thing is, what people want you to do. Do you want to talk about that?
I missed out most of the conversation.
If you want to talk about it, you can take this one.
Come through. Let's go.
I don't know if she's gonna do it, but basically, I'll just say my little piece, and if she decides she wants to say something, she can. But this idea about disclosing is bullshit because I don't know what people want. They want you to walk around with a sign on your head that says I'm transgender because it's like, do you know how at risk trans people, specifically trans women, are like of violence, of getting killed, of all these different things, and you want somebody to sit here in the first breath of a conversation and say, hey, I'm transgender. Like, that could be very dangerous. Like, that is dangerous. That's ridiculous that you think somebody should say that. I mean, of course, eventually you will have to know that, but every single person, every guy that comes up to a trans woman on the street, she's supposed to say that, and so everybody can know, and that's ridiculous. If you meet somebody and you talk to them and y'all are just dating or y'all go out on a date, why do they need to know that?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, if you're having a relationship, you're going to have a relationship with them. You're going to tell them. But, I mean, just some random nigga on the street, like, you supposed to keep saying that? That's crazy.
I get that. And at one point, I'm starting to slur my words, y'all. It's about to be interesting. At what point do we stop referring to people as trans men and trans women? Like, at what point will Caitlyn Jenner just be a woman? You know what I'm saying? Like, when do we drop the whole trans part? Like, I mean, I get it, but it's like, if the person feels that she's a woman or he's a man, like, is it even appropriate to keep referring to them as a trans man, a trans woman? Aren't they just men or women? Or am I being too naive? Like,
No, that's good.
And that was something that came up when I was going through my head about how to refer to people and how to ask these questions. Like, what do you say? What do you not say? What's offensive and what's not offensive?
Yeah.
And what needs to be known? Like, if you were dating someone who was trans, at what point would you want them to disclose to you?
Oh, you talking to me now, or is this
Everyone.
Oh,
I've thought about this before because I've had this conversation with my mother, and I honestly don't know because I can't say that if I built a connection with this person, like, the person hasn't changed. Like, the person's no different. Like, it's not because now they've told me that they're trans or because I identify as heterosexual and the guy I'm dating says, well, I'm a trans man. Well, my feelings for him don't just dissolve. Like, he hasn't all of a sudden become this completely different person because he's trans. So I really don't know, and I'm not sure that for me as a woman, that it even matters that much. I know men, we have this very peaceful society, so it's a big deal, but I just can't say it would honestly make a difference if we've connected to that point where we're about to be intimate, and like, I don't see where it's just, I don't really see what's on that.
Look,
I'm gonna get your number before this is over.
Look,
no, wait a minute, Ray.
my question was so, or my response to Shanoya was so ridiculous. I was about
Calm down. Wait, calm down, Ray. Settle down.
I'm just fucking around.
Look,
Just settle down.
my response was about to be, it's the peen big, because at the end of the day, like,
Really, Kia?
really, right? Okay, but Ray, you had someone jump in the screen with you.
Oh yeah, this is Ms. Yaya. She can tell you what she was gonna say.
Hi everybody. I'm Aya. You can call me Yaya. Everybody calls me Yaya. What was the question exactly again? I just wanted to be
The question
clear.
when you wanted to jump in, the question
we were
was
talking
about
disclosure,
disclosure, yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're still talking about disclosure. Like, what were you talking about? Like times or like instances where?
Like, when do you?
Yeah, when and how, and also, like, what are the fears of dating while trans? All of this goes into this whole dating while trans. How do you do it? What does it look like? What does it feel like?
I always say disclosure is definitely up to the discretion of the person, because you have to understand, like, as trans people, it's difficult sometimes to navigate public life because you're navigating a space where a majority of cisgender people navigate, and it's a lot of ignorance and hatred that is perpetuated. So being a trans person in a largely cis space can be potentially very dangerous. I know for me, like, it's a lot of times in most places I don't disclose because I know as a Black woman, I experience enough street harassment, but the added adjective of being a Black trans woman, that escalates my potential for street harassment and the like. And so I just typically just don't disclose in public. However, like in my intimate relationships, that looks a lot more murky. We have to understand that the disclosure is a very touchy and it's a very personal issue. It's very layered and nuanced, and every person is different. And it really truly depends on the person that you are dating, because it's been times where I would disclose upright and a mofo will want to fight me or whatever, you know, or if I would wait like later down the line, or if I to get to know the person, like you have to understand it's a catch-22 because in a lot of cases, trans people just simply aren't safe to be themselves or to even articulate their experience. So you have to understand like that is a very difficult and nuanced issue that needs to be handled on a case-by-case basis. It's just no one-all answer because at the end of the day, what's most important is not somebody's feelings, not this other person's feelings, but my life and my safety.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
This is my suggestion for it all, right?
Uh-huh.
Never live the experience of transitioning or whatever, but identifying as a heterosexual male. It's very simple. If you just stop being such a fuck nigga. Right?
Say that again for the
But a bitch is
in the back. For the saints in the back, the ones that were sleeping while I was preaching. If you just stop being like, I mean, it's not that like. I understand that it's nuanced and it is complicated, but like I read an article about a trans woman in Texas that had some type of like sexual encounter with this guy who was a football player at a small school like 2 or 3 times, and when he finally found out, he snapped and killed her. Like
actually, it was actually proven that he knew.
He knew.
Like no.
Oh, okay.
He knew.
Got you.
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
My bad. So
I hadn't heard that either. That's good information.
Right. But my point is that like if you learn how to and it all starts at the home, and for a lot of black men, though a lot of black men aren't necessarily in church, their lives are still constructed by church.
Yes.
If churches did a better job of preaching stories and narratives that go outside of this heteronormative hegemonic mailbox, right?
You said a lot of big words, Ricky. For the
I know I can't spell half of them, but
for the ashy people who are gonna come across the video on YouTube, break those words down real quick.
So for the ashy people who can comprehend, which I know we said it's 3 that can read, but it's only 2 that can comprehend. Heteronormative meaning, you know, this whole this straight men with women, women with men, hegemonic being this ideal man type thing. So if we get away, and I'm not saying that this is the case for everyone, but for a large number of black men, particularly black men in the South, because even if you haven't been in church, your grandmama has. You know what I'm saying? And she's been telling you this is how stuff goes, or your mama has. So your life is still constructed by the church. If we change our messages in church, that would change a lot. That's my focus area, is that the black pulpit is a weapon of mass destruction for people who fall outside of this man box. For black men who identify as queer, or black men who are in touch with their emotions, right? The church is not a healthy place. For example, I'm a minister, been a minister for the last 4 years, right? Licensed, preaching, all that good stuff. I dealt with a terrible, terrible bout of depression and suicide attempts because I could not emote. Like it was unmanly to cry, but that's what the church had taught me. I wasn't a real man. Right? How many people who don't even identify as heterosexual struggle because of what they hear every Sunday they go to church, or every Wednesday night? It's like, damn, does God love me? I don't fit what the preacher's saying, right? But the preacher has never taken a class on sexuality or human beings, but is up there talking to human beings about sexuality.
Right.
It's so problematic. It's so problematic, but we keep going because they make us feel good.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, kind of piggybacking, but I'm kind of like broadening the subject. Like, I think a lot of this would be better if people actually took into account that other kinds of people exist that are not cisgender, and that includes people in church and you know, and just everywhere. I think a lot of like, if people had actual discussions, and if people actually understood that it's more than like cis people that roam this earth, and like you will probably be more inquisitive the next time you like, you know, talk about disclosure. I know like we started talking about religion again, but I just wanted to put that out there. Ask questions. And I think like that should be something that needs to be said, because cis people can afford to assume that most people are cis. And so that's where the disconnect is. Don't assume that everyone you meet is a cis person. And don't assume their genitals. Don't assume their gender. And I think like it would make it more inclusive and easier to navigate, you know, these touchy situations if we come into this space in our minds that other people exist and they are not like me. And this world should accommodate for these people.
Yeah. And that I don't know if that's the right term, non-cis people, like, don't assume that they're broken. Like,
right.
Or deficient.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's something wrong with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's another part of the problem.
And if you want people to disclose to you, you need to give them that safe space so that they can. And
exactly.
To be very protective of who they are, and to not want to expose because you choose not to be with someone who doesn't identify who's not cisgender.
Yeah.
It's not your job to expose and to tell the world that.
Come on here, church.
That's important.
Right.
Can I be your associate pastor, Ricky?
Can you?
And what's the name of the church?
It's the Get Money Missionary Baptist Church.
Yes.
Well, as long as I get to ride on the jet now, I'm on the usher board.
Listen, every Sunday I plan on dispensing. I plan on coming down from the rafters.
Come through.
It's gonna be a show. Oh, best believe. And Ray's gonna be on the organ. Come on here, Jesus.
If you want to join the Get Money Missionary Baptist Church, please tweet us now so we can add you to the membership roll.
And her sister
will
church.
automatically be deducted, though.
She has a sister church. It's the Twitter Church of God in Cash.
Yes.
Yes.
And
come through, Cash.
Y'all are silly.
Oh, so are there any other questions before we start talking about ASAP Creflo?
God damn, I feel like I have so many questions, but I've been drinking and listening and like.
You've been drinking.
I've been drinking.
I think
I would like to point this out before we go, Kia, just in case anyone is listening. Like, it really irks me when people like merge drag queens and trans cross-dressers, like when they merge them all together, like that makes my skin crawl. Like, I can't. I normally try to approach it kindly and interject, but that gets on my nerves. Like, cross-dressing is not the same as drag queens. Drag queens are not trans, so we just need to make that clear for folks who are watching.
Can we just kind of quickly go through the difference between like cross-dressers versus drag queens versus trans?
Because I don't know.
And what I will say is that is also on the website. In the syllabus, under the terms to know, it breaks down all those definitions.
Perfect. And for the people who can't read or have aversion to reading, we're going to go through this real quick for your simple ass. Okay? So you are welcome for this shit, because we're about to explain it to y'all. Okay? You ashy ass bastards.
The girls are shady.
Cross-dressing and folks who they do drag. So you're primarily talking about the main focus being entertainment. Folks who cross-dress, you're usually talking about heterosexual men, although, you know, folks can dress all across genders however they want to. But when we think about the term cross-dressing, we're normally talking about heterosexual men who enjoy dressing in clothes of or deemed for the opposite gender for the purpose of some sort of fulfilling an internal purpose, some desire they have. However, drag queens are normally gay men who are doing it for the purpose of entertainment. So when you're talking about cross-dressing drag queens, like heterosexual men versus those who are homosexual versus those who are doing it for not for entertainment versus those who are. So there's like when people merge them together, that's not right. That's not the way it goes. But people are learning, and that's good. Like that's what your definitions are there, and I like that, Kia. You're on it.
Yes.
Deacon Kia. Deaconess Kia. Yeah.
I'm trying to see. Was there something else? Any other questions? Any things, Yaya and Ray? Anything else that you guys want to say that you want to make known?
Anything that you wish people knew? Like what is the thing that you keep explaining that you just get tired of explaining? Why don't simple niggas know
we
this?
Gonna write a book. We're gonna write a book. We're gonna make our own show.
Before y'all answer this question, after you answer the question, can you also give us maybe some organizations that and Shanoya as well, some organizations that help people who identify as trans or maybe transitioning, a place where our dollars can go to help people.
And Ricky, before we even get to that, I have a question for you. As a heterosexual cis man, do you become gay because you find a trans woman attractive?
No, I don't see how I would, but I mean, if you identify as a woman, if you are a woman, then you are a woman, and my attraction to you has. I think what's more gay is sitting around talking to your boys about what you did last night with some girl, and them being like, "Oh, so what'd you do next? So did you? But did she? But how did it feel?" That's probably more gay. So that's where I stand. I'm not saying I'm necessarily politically correct, but that seems to be a lot.
No, but I think that is a fear that you see with a lot among the ashy demographic.
Like they don't even like women. They don't like women at all.
Now that is true too.
Yeah.
What is it? He said they don't like women at all. We gonna need another show.
I mean,
they don't like women. They like men. Everything they do is for men. Everything.
They live their lives for the
men.
Of other men. That's why they
for the approval of men, for the respect of men. Everything.
Look at this ugly black B word, because I hate the word, so that their boys can be like, you know what, you right.
Right.
Yeah.
Y'all
right? No, another story.
Well. Okay. Now, okay, so back to what we were doing. I'm sorry, I got us all off track. That's where we were going. The thing that you hate explaining over and over again.
Okay, you want to go first?
Okay, because I could write a whole, but this is I got a dissertation on this. But one of the things that I absolutely hate is having to explain to cis people that y'all not that great, and I don't want to be you. I mean, it's no shade, like no tea, like I am happy being the woman that I am. And it's some beautiful cis women out there, but bitch, I'm not trying to be you. I'm trying to be me. And I wish people would understand, like, just because you're cis, like, you just not that standard. You just not it. Like, it's more than one type of woman out here. And I wish you would stop trying to say that I'm trying to be you. I'm not trying to be you. I'm trying to be me. And I think people have this idea that trans people try to be like cis people, and we aren't. We're just trying to feel comfortable in our own damn body. Something that y'all had the privilege of feeling comfortable as far as your internal sense of gender since birth. And that's simply what it is. And I am so tired of having to explain that. And also this idea that, oh God, there's so many. You know what, I'm going to just leave it at that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Are you on Twitter? You want to share your Twitter name, because all our Twitter names are up.
Should I just put it next to Ray's, or can I add another one?
You should be able to.
Is it under presets or?
What is it under? Hangout Toolbox.
Put it right here.
Put it where he put Real Drunk Show. Just take that out and put your ad.
Okay.
All right, Ray. What do you get tired of telling us dumbass cis people?
Two things really fast. I'll make them fast. These are just the two that get on my nerves the most. Number one, and I was waiting to say it, and she started talking. Is when you're
Is it cool?
Go back.
Oh shit! What'd I do?
I don't know what you did.
Okay, cool.
Okay. All right. The one thing is LGBT. I don't know all the rest of the letters. I'm sorry, and I hope nobody think I'm a dickhead and I'm trying to erase them. But I really LGBTQ. As far as I know. So basically, putting trans in with LGB because LGB are sexual orientations and trans is gender identity. Therefore, people putting them all together like that makes people say, oh, they all just gay or they all just whatever, which is the problem when we're talking about would a cisgender heterosexual man be gay for dating or having sex with a trans woman? No, because a trans woman is a woman.
Right.
And trans people aren't always attracted to, well, put it this way, a trans woman is not always attracted to men, and a trans man is not always attracted to women because that's gender identity. Sexual orientation is different, which is why Caitlyn, a.k.a. Catalina, like she said, Caitlyn says she likes women. And people are like, but why? But you changed your body and you like women. Because that's her body, that's her gender identity, that's not her sexual orientation. Those two things are different. So no, a cisgender heterosexual man would not be homosexual for dating a trans woman because she's a woman.
And I think that we also need to understand that people should, I believe in self-determination and people defining themselves and only themselves, you know what I'm saying? Like, because my narrative is different from his narrative, and so our narratives are different from cis people's narratives, but they're all value, and I think, like, people should have the right to determine their sexual orientation for themselves, and it should be believed, like, at face value, I feel like.
It was one more I had, and I forgot. Shit, it was good, too.
But I love that you put that out there because I talk to people about that all the time because people don't understand why why I always put the and T there. Like I had to argue about that with my dissertation proposal, like that it should be and T. Like you have to make it plain that there's a separation there. Like, so I love it. Yes, I love it that you said that.
And you know what? It's crazy because like I've used the term LGBT, like I know what the letters mean, I know all of that, but I never even considered the difference between gender identity and like sexual orientation and how it can be problematic to like put them together until just now. So I'm glad you said that.
And I thought about the other thing I was gonna say now. Okay, the other one that really pisses me off is people thinking that because you transition, you're now a different person than you were before. Oh, that's the best one. Because everyone's like, oh, I totally understand Kris Jenner because she married this person and now now they're a whole complete different person. No. Like, because I am who I am. I've always been that way. You didn't know it. And once I get on testosterone and this little bullshit of a shadow becomes a mustache and I get a beard. I know y'all like beards. And I'm going to have a beard. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to have a chest and not this shit going on. You know what I'm saying? That's it. The physical shit is going to be different. Everything else the same. I'm not going to all of a sudden just start liking shit I don't like and not liking shit I did. Like, everything else is the fucking same. My body is going to look different. That's the bottom line. And that's what it is.
Okay, Ray, you know you can get that Jermaine Jackson thing going on.
Ray, don't do it. Ray, don't you do it.
Don't set him up.
Don't you.
Jermaine Jackson
want that robot hair?
What do
Don't
you
you get that spray can.
The Beijing thing?
Do not get that spray can and spray can.
Oh, yeah.
Spray on the mustache. Don't do it. Sharpie,
I don't
and
even know what it
mustache
is,
and
but
beard.
okay.
No, you don't want to know. Trust.
I've definitely considered getting a lace front beard.
Yes.
No.
I'm so sick and tired of waiting for this to grow in. I've definitely just thought about expediting the process.
Ray, you sound like my 15-year-old kid. Like, do you see the hair yet? Not Ray. I'm sorry.
My brother's 16, and he has just a little bit more of a mustache than me. And I'm kind of jealous because I'm like, your shit gonna grow, and mine's been growing like this for 3 years, and you can't even see it.
Oh my gosh.
I see it. It's there. I see it.
Okay. See, that's natural. I haven't took no pills yet. See, that's just what I did on my own. I'm very proud of it. Very, very, very proud of it.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
One last thing, just something quick. I also want to comment on that. I want people to understand that transition is not always like an accurate way to describe somebody, like a trans person's narrative. Mm-hmm. Like transition, we kind of get this idea that we transition from like one gender to the next. But for a lot of trans people, that's not the narrative. We just simply are who we were, and we lack the resources, agency to live our true selves. And so it got to a point where we could not like deal with that costume anymore. So then we don't really come out. We just be ourselves. And so like people kind of get caught up in this idea of transitioning. Like to me, I don't think it's an accurate depiction of what being trans is actually like, because it gives this impression that we were this gender, and when in reality we were always the gender that we were. It's just that we were assigned a sex that was incongruent with our gender, with our internal sex. Like that's another thing. Like I want people to understand that we're assigned sex, not born a sex. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so, because when we're born, based on our genitalia, who tells us what sex we are? Doctors. They'll look at our genitalia and say, oh, you're this, you're that, and without any second thought or any consideration to how this person might grow up and might develop differently. And so I just want people to understand that that's a narrative that is out there, and it's a narrative for a lot of trans people that I don't think cis people quite caught on or like understood. But I just wanted to like put that out there.
And all of us don't take hormones, and all of us don't have surgery, and not all of us want to. Some of us can't afford to, and we do it when we can. Some of us don't want to at all. So that's another important thing.
That's a good point, because I never I've always thought about the aspect of not having the resources to do it, but I've never thought about the aspect of not wanting to.
Yeah, a lot of people don't want to.
It's about your body being aligned to, or like your expression being aligned with your true self. It's not necessarily, and for some trans people that may include taking hormones, that may include surgery, that may include documentation changes. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that does not mean that it's like end all be all to people's transition. Mm-hmm. Just like I just feel like I don't want to say that. I just kind of feel like people get so caught up into like the physical changes and not think about the mental, sociological, like emotional, legal things that go on and play a part into people's transitions as well. And also don't pay attention to the barriers that are in place institutionally that keep trans people from living out their full lives.
So this is a crazy question that just came up because I had a Twitter discussion about this. What bathrooms do you use, and are you offended that people don't want you in the bathroom with them?
Well, I was going to talk about it earlier.
Who asked that? So I can block them, because if that is not simple, ask another question.
No, it was a week or two ago. I saw this whole Twitter discussion going on about bathrooms. Like, what bathroom do you use? Why? I don't want men in the bathroom with me.
And you know what? I'm thinking about the case. There was a case here in Michigan for a Planet Fitness where there was I don't know if you guys heard about it, but like apparently a trans woman walked into the locker room, and another woman was like alarmed, and she went to the front desk and she made this big deal about a man being in the women's locker room. And so I guess it brings up another issue of like this kind of feeling that we feel like every every trans woman should look like Janet Mock or damn, I can't think of the
to pass for a cis person.
or Laverne Cox. You know what I'm saying? Like they got to be snatched and waist like this and eyebrows done and weave popping. Like, and the reality is, regular women don't look like that all the time. Like they don't have the resources to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
or the want, or the need to do.
Yeah, or the need to do that. So, yeah, the bathroom question is.
You want to tell about the bathroom shit?
I mean, like,
it's pretty simple.
I don't understand. It's so amazing to me how like cis people don't give a shit about bathrooms until it's about like, it's like, what do y'all do? What do we do in bathrooms? We go and pee and shit. Like, why is this so like much? Like, it's mind-boggling to me. It's like people go to the bathroom to shit, like, and pee. And like, leave. So why are you so upset that a person who might not look like a cis woman or a cis man in a bathroom, when all y'all are trying to do is pee? Like, all y'all trying to do is use the restroom. Like, I don't understand why is this such an issue, besides the fact that it could be like a potential like danger for men to be in women's bathrooms. But I'm like, if you really think about it, if a man really wanted to just walk into the women's bathroom and assault a woman, he just simply would. He wouldn't have to put on a wig and a dress.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm like he's hanging on camera. But like, I'm just saying, like, it's mind-boggling. It's like y'all like get so caught up about bathrooms and people that just simply are not like you in bathrooms. Like, what? I don't know. Yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you the biggest issue in bathrooms today, in male bathrooms today, is when you are using the restroom and there's like 3 or 5 urinals and the old white guy doesn't skip one, but he comes and stands beside you and wants to have a conversation. That's what's pressing our bathrooms in this country.
That's real shit.
That's what's pressing. Because he doesn't just come stand beside you when all the other ones are empty. He wants to talk to you. Like, this is not your moment of sanctity. Like you are not having a reflection with God that you made it just in time.
Ouch.
That's the real issue.
All right, my thing about the bathroom, this shit is crazy. To be honest with y'all, like, I still be going to the women's bathroom because out of habit. Like, and I've had a lot of fucked up shit happen when I go to the women's bathroom because they always think I'm a guy, even though I got these big ass titties. They still think I'm a guy all the time. Like, people always call me sir and shit, and they think, oh my God, there's a man in here, and then they'll look at my titties and be like. But like one time I was in a women's bathroom and these like teenage girls started flipping out and they were like, "It's a man in here! It's a man!" They started like yelling and kicking on the stall, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, and I'm trying to hurry up and pee so I can like, fix my clothes and come out and cuss them out. And then when I flushed the toilet, they were like, "He's coming out!" And they like dipped. It was like so embarrassing. And like, I always had these problems, but like I said, out of habit, I still go to the women's bathroom sometimes. But I'm like, going to the men's bathroom, it's not that big of a deal because men might look at me like, what the fuck is this motherfucker doing? But men aren't going to really bother me. For a trans woman to go into a men's bathroom, that is posing a danger to her. Mm. So trans women are not trying to bother cis women. Trans women just trying to use the bathroom, but to make a trans woman have to go into a men's bathroom, that is putting her at risk. So that is fucked up. For me, it could still be potentially a danger because men do fuck with, cis men do fuck with trans men, but for the most part, I'm just gonna go in and they might be like, it was a dyke bitch in the bathroom, but they're not gonna bother me. But you know, it's a real serious fucking danger for a trans woman to go into a man's bathroom. That is fucked up, and people don't think about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm glad you guys brought that up because we are so self-centered as people, especially when you start talking cis heteronormativity and us used to the world catering to us. We don't think about the danger that our desires put on other people.
That's real shit.
Ray, who some of you guys know, said, I tuned in for Shanoya, but stayed for the conversation. Stayed because the conversation and the format is great. Kudos.
Oh, look at you being a perv and learning something. Good for you.
Wait, who is this again? Wait a second.
His name is Ray. He also said, this preacher dude is dope. He needs to be the youth pastor for Black America, like all of it.
Well, listen, Ray, get your $5 together. We sending it to him on his PayPal. Get it together.
This Honda Accord.
We got to get him his Honda Accord. So.
Man, come through.
All right.
As long as we riding there, I need to make that clear. Now, I'm not taking up no donations unless I'm riding. I need to get
You're definitely riding.
Make it clear.
You came in a little late. Do you want to share anything about your story?
Oh, were y'all talking to me?
Oh,
Yeah.
Do you want to share anything about your story, like when you knew, how you told your family?
Child.
I mean, if you don't want to, it's fine.
I'm just thinking about like that because that's a book. Like I said before, like I kind of always knew, like I am who I am. And when I was younger, I was just socialized as someone who I was not. But I always had my internal sense of who I am. And once I got to college around like 2010, I had the resources and the agency to do what I needed to do to express myself and to be my true self. It definitely was not easy. I definitely suffered a lot of like discrimination, particularly like at being like a only open Black trans woman on a college campus for 4 years that I know of, and so that was a really isolating time. And then also dealing with family and their non-committal to trying to understand and to empathize with me and my humanity and my life. So that was really difficult, and it's still people in my family that I don't speak to because of this. I lost friends because of, you know, being myself and people's inability to empathize. And but I can honestly say now, like, my relationship with my family is a lot better and a lot more healing than it was previously. And overall, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, I knew when I was younger, experienced a lot of trauma, and still do sometimes, but I'm just in a better space, emotional space, to handle that trauma and to keep trudging forward to live my life unapologetically.
All right.
Amen. Ashe.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say I asked Ray this same question earlier, but, you know, in knowing what your experience has been and knowing what you've been through, like, for those critics out there who are saying that Caitlyn is not brave, there's nothing courageous about what Caitlyn has done, in chronicling her transition and chronicling her experience, like, what do you think about the fact that people are saying that that doesn't take courage, that it's not brave?
I just feel that's so lazy. I think, like, no, it is brave. I mean, like, the fact that she is being herself. Admittedly, she does have a lot of access and privilege,
Right.
which a lot of, like, especially trans people of color do not have on average. To say that her story, to kind of like discount her story, is like really lazy and really mean-spirited and like unethical, and I think it's horrible. Like, because she is brave, but also look at the ways that access that she has that gives her more it affords her more, like, she can afford to
Right, she's
be more
privileged.
brave. She can
Right.
afford to chronicle her, like, transition and show up for the world to see, and not, receive as much backlash. You know what I mean? So, I think people who are like saying that are really, they're not. I don't think that they understand how difficult that is.
Right.
So, but I think she's absolutely brave and courageous, in spite, of the other things. Of course, like, if we add, in context, I should say. But
Right.
at a base level, she is definitely brave.
Right.
She is definitely, and her narrative is as important as others. It's just as important.
Yeah. You know what fucking blows me about this Caitlyn Jenner thing? People who say like, "Oh, Bruce Jenner is just getting a check. Like, look at all of these endorsements he's doing. It's like, you don't fucking come out as a transgender woman to get a check. Like, the world doesn't work that way. Like, it's not worth it. I don't care what anybody says, there's no check large enough. There's no bank who can cash a check big enough to make somebody come out and say, like, I'm trans. It just, like, that doesn't make any sense to me. And that is so annoying. Like, oh, he's just doing this to get money. Like, you don't fucking get money by saying that you're trans in America. Like, get the fuck out of here with that.
Well,
And I think that's so funny. I really think that's interesting how, like, people feel like Caitlyn or any other trans person as a celebrity comes out for, like, a check. But you said yourself, like, it's no check big enough to make somebody do that, because we all find our genders valuable. We find our genders priceless, to the point that it's no price you can put on us to change our gender. It sounds ludicrous when you say it. Like, when you say it to yourself, like, what cis person do you know that if you could put a price to change their gender?
Right.
Like,
right.
Who would do that?
Like,
because
oh, yeah, I'll do that for a
so
Vanity Fair cover. Like, get the fuck out of here. That don't
I mean, but the only people who are saying that are the broke ashy dudes who can't read or comprehend. So, they're probably... They have no concept of money. These are the same people who
Or logic.
cheaper to raise a child and pay child support. So,
They all about the logic. It's just gone. It disappeared. It ran away with their dad that was going to the store.
Oh, God.
It never came back.
Hey, Ray, don't be petty.
Right. Don't be petty mayonnaise.
You're absolutely right.
Petty what?
Petty mayonnaise.
They talking shit about me anyway. I don't give a fuck.
You're absolutely right.
Man, you're not gonna be no man. You're not no man. You know what I think about when people say that? You don't have to think whatever the fuck. You don't have to agree. You don't have to whatever. I don't give a fuck. Because all that's going to happen is I'm still going to be handsome. You still going to be over there mad. You can say I'm a woman if you want to. It's fucked up and stupid and it's inaccurate, but you can say what the fuck you want to say. I'm still going to be over here handsome and you're going to be over there mad.
Ray, there's a prophetic group by the name of Migos that has a song that says, "Is it because a nigga handsome and wealthy?"
That is my jam. I always change the words. I say, "Is it because a nigga handsome and healthy?" You know, like that.
Boom. That's it. That's it right there.
Yeah.
Fluff 70 said, "First time tuning into Real Drunk Show. Thank you all for such an important discussion. I'll be tuning in again." Thank you for joining us.
Oh, that's very kind. Thanks.
That's nice.
And really quick too. What else has been getting on my nerves is all of these men, cis men who are saying, "Oh, for women who are allies or women who are embracing or trying to educate themselves about the trans experience. Oh, I didn't know your womanhood was for sale so easily. So you're just going to allow these, I can't even remember the term he used because it was so ignorant and hateful, but you're just going to allow these, insert trans folks here, trans women here, to take your spot as a woman. I didn't know the economic exchange was blah, blah, blah." So I'm like how do you've reduced womanhood to economic exchange, first of all, but then you're trying to define womanhood in a very like hetero cis normative model, as like there's only those limited definitions or experiences of what it is to be a woman and how that's defined and lived. Right. So it's just like that has also been getting on my nerves, because you can't seem to get folks to understand that the womanhood embodied in the trans experience is just as significant, just as valuable, just as real as those of us who are assigned female, woman, whatever at birth. Like, it's just as significant and real. So that has also been really getting on my nerves, like to the nth degree.
All right, Ange, I have a question for you before we get to this letter. We had these drunk culture stories that we were going to talk about.
Oh, shit.
Do you still want to do that, or you want to try to roll them over for next week?
You know what? Let's roll them over. Let's do drunk advice.
Okay.
And then, you know.
You want to read the drunk advice letter? Do you have it up?
I don't have it up.
Okay, hold on.
Wait, yo, we got to talk about Clip Your Dollar.
Oh, yeah, because we have referenced Creflo $. We've referenced him a few times.
We're going to do drunk advice letter. We're going to talk about ASAP Dollar.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to do these drunk recommendations and be out.
Yeah.
So, drunk advice. Drunks help. I love my man. We've been together for 3 years, and he's an amazing person. We also have a great sex life that gives us both the freedom to explore and push boundaries. Well, some of his exploration is making me nervous. On occasion, he does really random, like puts on my bedroom heels and my panties. Real nigga shit. I'm pissed he's stretching out my good shit. However, I'm also concerned. Is this a fetish, or is there more to this? My phone just went black. Sorry. Hold on. What do I do, drunk? Sign. Does my man want to be a woman?
Stop giving him your good panties.
Stretching out her good shit.
Just stop stretching out the good panties.
Right, get some regular ones or something. Right. Like buy him a personal pack. I feel like personal stash you can keep in the car next to his other drawers. That sounds sickening. That's how you keep a relationship, man.
That's how you keep a man. Y'all need to learn how to keep a man.
So, does he want to be a woman? And I think this goes back to what you said earlier, Shanoya.
I mean, I don't think that means that he wants to be a woman. I don't even think that necessarily means he has a fetish. He could be into cross-dressing. Like, the only way she's really going to know is to sit down and have that conversation with him and ask him that question. And I mean, he may not understand the fullness of what he's doing and what his behaviors are himself. So, I mean, I think if she's concerned about it and it's something that she wants to know, I mean, just sit down and talk to him. They obviously have a very open relationship where they're comfortable with experimenting with each other and showing, you know, whatever side of themselves that they wouldn't necessarily show to the world. So, I mean, I think they should be okay having that conversation.
That's my advice every week during these drunk advice letters. Like,
it's like, stop being so... Okay.
What was the what?
Talk.
What's this face and palm, Ange?
I be trying not to insult our listeners, but girl, like, talk to your man. Just ask him. You know what I'm saying? Like Shanoya said, like, just have a conversation with them. Like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe he is transgender. I don't know. Like, ask him. I don't know.
Asking us because she's afraid to ask him.
Give him a safe space to be honest.
Yes.
Right.
A space he needs to tell you what.
Well, I need to show.
What did y'all say?
No. Inside Kiki's.
No inside Kiki's allowed on the show.
It's gonna be an inside today, baby.
Okay. Ricky, you have anything you want to add? Other than stop wearing the good panties.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's just common sense, you know. You don't give away your good draws if it keeps stretching them out, you know. It's just not that complicated, you know. You know he's stretching them out, but you keep giving him the good draws. He gonna keep stretching them out. He ain't gonna stop stretching them out.
If nothing else, you have to make a rule, baby. You cannot wear my good shoes and my good drawers by your own.
Right.
Well, like, hey, your birthday's coming up. Let me get you some draws.
No, you gotta stop.
No more.
You gotta be stopped.
So, like, she's comfortable with experimenting with him, but she's not comfortable asking him this question. So it leads me to, like, either she's afraid to get the answer to this question, or she already kind of knows what the answer is and is looking for some sort of validation, because there's no way you're comfortable with doing all that experimenting and comfortable, or he's comfortable doing his whatever in front of you, but you don't feel comfortable having that conversation or asking that question. So that's the only thing that kind of concerns me there. I think she either wants us to confirm what she already knows, or she doesn't want the answer that she kind of already suspects is her answer.
Good point.
Side note, we was cracking up because somebody just walked in the room, and they walked in the room, and he was saying, well, why you let him put on your good drawers? And the person was like, the fuck are y'all talking about? So we just had fell out. It just was a bad timing.
That's a valuable life lesson for everyone. Don't give anybody your good draws. Relationship, friends. You're not getting my good draws. I really don't want to give any of my draws away, but you ain't getting my good ones.
Look, because I only got like 3 good pairs of drawers,
Right.
so definitely not giving you my good ones.
Listen, they're few and far between. I can't give you the good ones.
All right, so back to ASAP Creflo. So we have this GoFundMe campaign to get Ricky a Honda Accord, but Creflo Dollar is too good for Honda Accords. He needs a jet for his ministry.
Creflo Dollar's too good for it.
Twitter thought they shut him down, him and his $67 million jet down, but this week the leaders, the deacons, the trustees, whoever of his church, they released a little press release that said, oh, Pastor Dollar is getting his jet. Thoughts?
Bullshit. That's some bullshit. That's a damn shame. That is a damn shame that somebody could really, really be that brainwashed and think that a man of God needs that type of. I'm trying not to be insulting, but
no, go for it.
And not to say everyone that's religious is this way, because they all are not. I'm just saying that's some brainwashed Kool-Aid shit. Like, why does he need that jet, and why does it have to be one that costs that much? And where is he going? Like, I actually heard on the radio, I think, was it Ricky Smiley? No, not Ricky Smiley. What's that guy? It's the James Fortune show. I think they were talking about this like 2 months ago. And they were like, and don't ask me why I was listening to it. It was my mama who was listening to it. And they were talking about that, and one of the guys was on the show, and I don't remember who he was, but he was like, well, Pastor Creflo Dollar, he has churches all over the world, and he does service in New York on Friday and Saturday, and then on Sunday he goes to Australia and he does a service, and then on Tuesday he does one in England. And I'm like,
and Delta still flies.
Amen.
How are you getting from New York to Australia in one day? And then getting from Australia to England in one day? I'm like, are y'all that dumb? That nigga is not going from all them places in that amount of time. What's wrong with webcam? Look what we doing right now. We all talking, right?
You know what?
You got a church in Australia, get on the webcam.
Andy Stanley, who I love, Buckhead Church, North Point Ministries here in Atlanta. He has like 6 locations in Atlanta. This man preaches, and they have like 6 services each. This man preaches once, and then they show the video for the rest of the services.
Shut up. Are you serious?
Does it work though?
They listen.
But if you saying they're all in
They're watching
Atlanta,
the
he could
podcast.
actually just drive.
Everybody else is watching the video podcast.
Tell you which church he's going to be at which week. You can show up to 10 o'clock service.
Oh, I'm still in that. I'm still in that. I gotta do that.
But that video screen is going to come down, and you are going to see Andy Stanley preaching the word. And another thing I love about Andy Stanley, he's quick to say, if you're a Christian and you don't believe, you don't have to do this. He's very inclusive in his word. And, yeah, Andy Stanley, that's my man. I like him.
I don't know Andy Stanley.
I believe.
So while we're talking about clip your dollar, right? There's a few things I have, a few problems I have with like these mega ministries, right? First, they like a number of them preach this prosperity gospel that if you do these things, God wants you to be prosperous. If you tithe, then God will give it back to you 10, 20-fold, blah, blah, blah. But it always seems that the prosperity starts and stops at the head.
Say that again for the cheap seats.
The ones in the back. Yes, talking to you this morning. No, the prosperity, it starts and stops at the head. Like you have, I heard a woman tell a story, a single mother. She had to fight to get to Creflo's church every Sunday. I mean, public transportation, everything, sacrificing her tithes, and the prosperity never rolled down to the back pew.
Oh, prosperity gospel is like trickle-down economics with Republicans.
That's it. Damn, that's it.
Thank you. Yeah.
That
sounds a lot like classism and shit, and
Right.
capitalism.
So that's one of my problems. But then my second issue is for you to have a world ministry and to name your church World Changers, but you aren't changing the community you're in, I have an issue.
Because I've been to Creflo's church. Creflo's church is right in the middle of the hood. You know when 2 Chainz talks about tossing your CD out next to the Wendy's? That's what Creflo's church is.
Literally.
When
Like, that's his church.
about Gobby Road, Old National and Gobby Road, that's where Creflo's church
That's Creflo's church.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's so problematic. You're gonna tell me that you raised $65 million and the church is gonna front another, or you're gonna front another $5 million to buy a $70 million jet. How many kids in Atlanta can you feed with $70 million? How many kids can you educate in Atlanta with $70 million? How many mothers that need homes for their children that you're not allowing to come to the church because you claim it runs up the bills, but you have $70 million to put down on a jet? Like, you're a world changer, but you're not a
clothes.
Let's be honest here. The only thing Creflo is changing is his clothes, so he can hop on that jet and leave all of our black asses behind. Let's just
Like, I mean, that's
Shania.
I have a real issue with it because what it does is it makes it difficult for people who have a genuine and authentic concern for the church and for people. It makes it incredibly difficult, right? I'm not saying that somehow I'm oppressed and, anything like that, but my tool oftentimes for reaching people is through the church, right? But when you have someone that's making a mockery and raising $65 million to buy a jet, it's like everyone's like, nah, all y'all niggas scam artists. And I'm not going to scam you on church. I'm going to scam you on cupcakes, not church.
and that Honda Accord we about to get.
And that Honda Accord. I'm not buying that Honda Accord, but Saints, you don't worry about that. You just tithe. You believe God. You'll get it back.
We actually talked about this. It was one of our first shows, maybe like the first show or the second or third show. We actually talked when this first broke. And I remember thinking like, yeah, he's definitely going to get the money for this jet. Like, he's definitely going to get the money because people want to believe that he's doing the right thing. Like, people want to believe that I think they were asking people for $300 donations. Like, yeah, I'm going to give my $300 because, God loves Creflo and I'm trying to get into heaven and I want to do the right thing. So, yeah, I'm going to give him $300, even though it doesn't make sense. Even though the jet that he's trying to acquire can't even hold the amount of food and goods that he says he's going to be given to these foreign countries. Like, even though that...
But he's not giving the College Park.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like...
Own that L is still own that L.
I don't know, man. And even to that point, the point that Ricky made, like, I live in Detroit, and we have numerous problems, right? The school system, communities, like, we have a whole bunch of problems that we're trying to tackle in Detroit. Like, why are you sending resources to Brazil? Like, why are you sending food and clothes and all of this money to other countries when we have kids that's like literally right around the corner who can't read, who are hungry, who don't have clothes to wear to school? Like why are we sending these resources to these other foreign places when, like, there are actually people right here that need our help? Like, there are actually people in the Atlanta area who need help. Like, you don't have to be so ambitious that you're gonna bring God to the people of Africa. And you know,
and what makes you think that people of Africa or Brazil or anywhere else need your God?
Yeah,
that's so arrogant.
Arrogant. You know what? I heard that this week. That is a very imperialistic view of who God is.
Even to invite someone to your church on Sunday is arrogant, because you're attempting to say there's something at my church that you're not getting somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to make your life somehow better.
Yeah.
Well, I have two things. First, Angie, that $300, his church people said that they were not asking the general public for $300. They were asking like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
Because you don't believe doesn't mean there aren't other people who believe. So
exactly.
I think for your heathen ass.
Exactly. And that's the message, right? It's like, oh, Angela, so you don't think God is worth $300? Is that what you're trying to say? Well, forget you. Salvation is not for you anyway, because there's another fool over here who will gladly donate $300 so that I can get this $65 million jet. And so me and my wife and my deacons, we can go to fucking Aruba and the Bahamas whenever we get ready. And oh yeah, we might talk about God when we at the airport or when we at the resort or some shit. So yeah, so Angela, no, we don't need your $300.
Like this.
The second thing is Ray, who tuned in to see Shanoya. He lives in Australia right now, and he ain't never heard of Creflo.
The hood want to know Creflo.
In Australia.
The hood want to know Creflo.
He's going to do some research this week and get back to us next week.
Good, yes. Thank you, Ray.
We're going to have Ray on the show to update us on whether or not Creflo has been ministering.
Creflo is not planting no damn crops. He's not washing no cars. He's not cutting no grass. Nothing in Australia. Folks don't even know him.
But at the heart of it is a real issue of like this whole God, I'm going to give it to him because he's dreaming big and God's going to honor his dream, right? Like I said, what about the single mother who just dreams to feed her children? Does God not care about her dream?
Right.
Like, and this whole notion that it's a blessing, like, I hate the word blessings. Blessings are privilege. Blessings are privilege in encoded language, right?
Yes.
I hate when people say, I was so blessed to be able to get this. No, you were privileged. And it's okay to say you were privileged. But when you say it's a blessing, you're saying God somehow or another says, you know what, you're my favorite, but you
over someone else.
Right.
Ooh, I'm so glad I don't be worried about this stuff.
If that's the kind of God, but this is the kind of stuff I enjoy. But if that's the kind of God that we claim to have, then I'd rather have something else.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or when people say, you know what I hate when people say, they tell me, because I play the piano and shit, and they're like, God gave you that talent, he can take it away. And I'm like, you telling me somebody up in the sky gave me a talent? Like, I didn't sit there and play for hours and hours and practice and go out and embarrass myself and fuck up in front of people. And you trying to tell me somebody done gave me, like...
let me say.
I don't believe in that. You work for things. You work hard for things, and you know what you've done and the sacrifice you made in your life, and you want to sit here and attribute to somebody we can't even see or know or hear or feel.
But next time, tell them God can also take the breath out of their body.
Oh no.
I love burying church folks. One of my favorite pastimes.
But even the notion that God will give you a talent and then just arbitrarily take it away. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you're not using it how he wants you to use it.
Yeah.
Like, because you're not using it how he wants you to use it.
Right.
That's what my mom says all the time. I'd be like, Ma, please stop.
So I mean, you have to beg the question: is God that egotistical and petty and
right? Because that sounds like something that Angela would do.
You know, it's a problem, but also this is and very serious. I tell my kids this. I'm a youth pastor, but I tell my kids this all the time. Like, I have no problem with you crediting God or whatever, but there's absolutely nothing you can do to make God any bigger than you already claim God is. So don't downplay what you've worked hard for. Don't downplay the abilities you have. Don't downplay the time you've put into stuff. It doesn't make God any bigger when you say, oh, no, it's not me, it's God. No, you stayed up all night working on that science project. You did it. It's okay.
Ooh,
right. But you know where that comes from, though? That comes from the fact that in a lot of churches that you're taught that you are nothing without God. You know, the whole filthy rags in his sight, you're nothing but filthy rags, and he was so merciful and none of us deserved it, and you know, and you're nothing without him, so therefore at your best you're still nothing compared to God. Like, why would you teach someone that's abusive? Why would you teach someone they're nothing? Like,
I've never thought of it that way.
That's good.
Or to teach people that God should come first and you should come last. Why would you tell a person, any person, that there's somebody that's supposed to come before them? Like, how? That's so abusive and violent.
You cannot sorry. You cannot love a God you cannot see if you cannot love the you in the mirror. I don't believe it.
There you go.
Ooh, that was good.
I absolutely do not believe that at all. But that whole your filthy rags type thing, it all comes from, you know, this whole notion that that God's ways are not our ways and our thoughts are not God's thoughts, and far as the east is from the west. But the beautiful part of that scripture, right, is that it's written at a time where they believe the world is flat. Somebody missed that. They write this scripture says our ways are not God's ways, our thoughts are not God's thoughts. As far as the east is from the west, they believe the world is flat. But we know that the world is round. So maybe our thoughts are closer to God's thoughts. Maybe our thoughts are God's thoughts. Maybe our ways are God's ways. Maybe the east really isn't that far from the west, as we know it's not.
Right.
Hey,
damn, Ricky! Pastor Ricky.
Ricky about to get this Honda Accord.
Okay.
We might be able to get you one of them $50,000 Kias.
Yes.
All right. So, dang, that was good.
That was good.
You know what I appreciate? Because a lot of pastors could not sit in a space with someone who was atheist and respect their beliefs and their thoughts and allow them to say what they were. And you were, and I appreciate that.
Listen, I don't know. I have no idea if I'm any more right than Ray. We're both operating on what we believe, what we feel. I can't tell someone else they're right or wrong.
And see, this is the Jesus that I know. A Jesus who is open and accepting and who allows people to be them.
And who I read may have been transgendered, but we'll talk about that at a later time.
Part 2.
That will fuck up everybody. So what happens if we find out that y'all Jesus was transgender? Does everybody go change their gender now?
Uh-oh.
Is gender up for sale then if Jesus was?
Uh-oh.
If they're not ready. You know, open the can of worms.
Okay, drunk recommendations. This is when you tell us about all the cool shit that you have or that you like. Who has a drunk recommendation for us? I left mine upstairs.
So mine is like, it's real basic. It's just like meditating. Like, just when you get up in the morning, like just have 5 minutes, 10 minutes of just silence. Like just meditate, let your mind just kind of relax. Like I've been doing this the past few weeks and it's really changed like my outlook, just like giving my mind the opportunity to like settle and like prepare myself for the day. There's an app called Headspace if you're into that. It's really good. It has like some guided meditations and things that you can do, but yeah, man, like silence. Just like silence your mind for at least a few minutes every day. Like it'll really help you. It'll truly, truly help you.
I meditated with Oprah and Deepak for like 2 weeks or something, and it was great, but then I stopped.
Yeah.
And then I started wanting to burn down my old job. So.
Well, okay. So we'll have to try something else.
So
maybe Oprah and
start
Deepak.
meditating again.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we got to do something else for you.
All right, Shanoya, what you got?
I mean, well, damn, I was just going to say be sure to watch Orange is the New Black on Netflix tomorrow.
Yes.
Because Angie got all deep and stuff.
Listen, I have my spots. You know what I'm saying?
When does the new season start, Shanoya?
Tomorrow.
Does it really?
I've heard that's a misprint, though.
Oh, my God, no. Don't. Now, look. Now, look.
Somebody told me it's the 12th, and then the 6th
I thought
was a
it was
mistake.
on like a Friday.
It's
Well,
usually
today
on
is
Friday because I used to pick up work to
Because I usually take it off.
Yeah.
What's today's day?
Today is the 5th.
The 5th?
Hey,
5 plus 7 is
Damn
12.
weekend.
Maybe it is next Friday. That's what I heard. I don't know. I didn't have a chance to Google it because I was trying to figure out this Hangout shit, and it was fucking me up. But that's what I read earlier.
Did y'all see them on the cover of, what is it, Essence or Essence?
Yes. They look beautiful.
Yes.
They look amazing.
Somebody tell Laverne Cox I said, what up, though?
Okay.
And what up, though, too? Angie, shut up with the gay jokes. I'm not.
Well, listen.
You're hetero-flexible. Come to the dark side, the evilness, you're just feeding into the propaganda. You can't help it. It's just the gay agenda and all.
Oh my God. Hetero flexible.
There are people like me that are recruiters and shit, because we go out and try to get people in the game.
All this coercing has me confused. That's it. Okay, it's June 12th. So June 12th is next Friday.
Well, everybody, that's still my tip. Watch Orange is the New Black. And I mean, if I got to be all deep like Ange and stuff, I mean, I journal. It helps me.
Oh, yeah, journaling too.
That's a place. Like, just getting my thoughts out. Like, I write something every day, even if it's just a couple of sentences about my day or about how I'm feeling or whatever. So the past couple of years, I've just made it a point to journal every night, like at the end of the day, whether I have a whole page full to write or just a sentence or two. Like, it just really helps me to get my thoughts out. And then it's been interesting to go back and reflect, like, same date 2 years ago, looking at where I was then or what I was thinking then compared to now. So it's nice to see your evolution and just to get those thoughts out. So if I had to make one all deep like Ange, she always trying to make me look bad.
I'm just living life, man.
She's a horrible person.
Jeez.
Ricky, what you got for us?
A couple of things. On the Orange is the New Black tip, if you're able, go support Danielle Brooks on Broadway in Color Purple. We grew up together. She's Tasty from Orange is the New Black. So definitely go see her.
Keep Tasty away from Angie because Angie.
We had this discussion. We had this discussion a while back. So yeah.
She deserves better in life.
Another thing, for all the super spiritual or churchy folks, there's a great book called When Religion Becomes Evil. Check it out. Really great book. And then for all of the guys watching, ease up on the porn. You're creating really unreal expectations of what women's bodies look like.
Wait a
Try to
minute.
find you like a good book or something. Just ease up on the porn just a little bit because you're just not realistic. That's all I got.
Did you say this 2 days ago? Yesterday?
I might
On
have.
Twitter?
Yeah.
I think I saw you. Oh, wow. You was retweeted on my shit. Okay.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Because my boobs, they have a hang time. They have some hang time to it. That's
Listen,
not.
man.
And
Listen.
you're going to let my boobs be great. My boobs
It makes
are
them more fun. It makes
But
them more fun.
like,
Then they can do. Never mind. I'm saved.
but what kind of high class porn y'all be watching? Because like,
Well, listen. This is my thing. I only watch. I try to give back to my community, but every time I turn it on, like they're just already there, and I'm like, how did we get here? Did you meet them at Starbucks, or like just the plumber, or like give me some type of plot? You know,
but
I can't just jump into it. You gotta ease me into it. I can't.
I get you. But like, even cause like, even in my research, like for my class and for my research, it's not even like it's not even like their bodies are perfect. It's like you see bullet wounds, you see like
Angie watching that blue flame porn.
tattoos. Like I mean, just from the class that I took, I don't know.
You gotta get off of the homemade channels, Angie.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
you
me.
have a strong recommendation.
A recommendation.
Donate to Black Trans Org. I know that's random, but I knew I wanted to answer that. Like Trans Women of Color Collective, Trans People of Color Coalition, Trans Latina Coalition. Those are like some good like projects and like organizations that cater to trans people of color. Since this was on Caitlyn Jenner. Other than that, I mean, I don't watch porn, so I don't want to get into that. So
neither do I. So
I don't either. I'm telling you what I heard from Twitter.
I just know from class.
This was from Twitter. I heard this.
I don't really have anything else besides
No, that was good, and thank you, because Ricky asked that question and we kind of got off the subject and you brought it right back.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess on some deep tip, I kind of like I like to block out at least a 2-hour block to as much as I can, like to have like some specific alone time, like where it's nobody else, no phone or limited phone use. Most of the time it's usually in my car, where I just really get a chance. I like to do it at night, preferably late at night. Just sit in my car and just process my day and process feelings. So a good thing, that's one of just the good things that I like to do, and I would recommend for anyone else. And also understanding that all feelings are valid, but all actions are not. And I think,
that's good.
I think like when we come into like spaces where we feel like we need to, we feel bad for the feelings and the thoughts that we have, that we just need to actually feel those feelings and accept those as is, and process them. I think that's just how I like process things, and to be able to become a more whole and healing human being. So.
Good stuff.
That's good.
Ray, what do you have for us?
I've been thinking about this shit all day, but I just came up with this because I was thinking when I was reading the list, like, music, because I'm a musician. A really dope album, and it's not new anymore. I think it's 2 years old now. It might be 3. Y'all know Bilal?
Yeah.
Neo soul singer?
Yeah.
The shit. Bilal, B-I-L-A-L.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. His last album was bomb. Like it was a beautiful, beautiful fucking album. It was ridiculous, and I mean, people were on it, but you know, it wasn't like it was on Billboard or nothing. Like it wasn't like big like that.
Released an album since like 2003. Whenever he first came out, that single he had.
Everybody thinks that he has 4. He has 4 now, and one of them got shelved, but you can still download it. But there's 4 of them, and they're all fucking good. But the last one is called A Love Surreal. Please, from the first time I put it on, the first song I think is West Side Girl. I was on from the. That shit is so crazy. It's beautiful. It's diverse. It's all type of crazy shit on there. It's really good. So Bilal, A Love Surreal. That's my music recommendation. On some deep shit, just real. Everybody want to do that. And look in the mirror. Look in the mirror and tell yourself that you are beautiful, handsome, sexy. Look in the mirror, for real. And believe that shit. Not just say it, just like look in the mirror like, I'm ugly, but I'm going to say I'm beautiful because Ray said. No. Like really look at yourself in the mirror and really fucking come to love the way that you look. And if it's something that maybe you're not happy with, then maybe try to change it if you can. But for real, like, that shit has helped me. Because feeling like I was in the wrong body and shit, like, and I was not who I was supposed to be for my whole fucking life. I had really low self-esteem, and then the more and more that I started to be who I feel that I should be, the more I just be like, damn, you know. And I'm not perfect, you know. I need to lose some weight and shit, you know, whatever the fuck. But really, like, that shit helped me for real.
Sure. I am enough. Like, that was the most powerful.
We look sick, man. We playing you.
I used to do that, like, naked in the mirror, and that's what helped me accept my body. Hang time boots and all.
That's real.
Yeah, man. Like, the most powerful affirmation I've ever, like, accepted was just, like, I am enough. Like, I am enough. Like, right here as I am right now in this moment, like, I am enough. Like, period. That's it. Yeah, man, that's powerful.
That's good. It's simple, but so powerful, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I have a Twitter friend. Her Twitter name is @BrownandBella, and she has a handmade skincare product line called La Bella Body Care.
I've heard of that.
It is amazing. Like, my box came the other day, and I opened up the box. Time I opened up the box, like, smells just came out, and I was in love because my whole house was smelling good from her body butter kit. I got the Best Face Forward kit that comes with, like, 2 cleansers, a toner, and a moisturizer, and it is amazing. So check out La Bella Body Care.
Already follow.
These were some good recommendations, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, Kia.
Yes.
Tell everyone, well, I guess I can tell everyone, follow my cupcake page.
Yes. What is it?
It's @the Cupcake Taylor, TAILOR. Or no, on Twitter it's @Cupcake Taylor. On Instagram it's @the Cupcake Taylor. Have a new cupcake dropping tomorrow. Got a banana pudding cupcake dropping tomorrow. And working on some other stuff. I did a coconut cream pie, strawberry shortcake this week, a bunch of different stuff. Trying to take it big places soon. So yeah, everyone follow us.
I want a cupcake.
Cupcakes look good.
You gotta send us all cupcakes. Just one.
I got you. And I'm not going to send just one. If I'm going to send them, I'm sending everybody a dozen. You get a dozen, and you get a dozen. And
Josh, better be the Oprah of cupcakes.
Yeah.
I request red velvet.
Got you. Easy.
Okay, so thank you guys for joining us tonight. And I guess personally, if nothing else, what I want you to take away from this show is to allow people the space to be who they are and to give them the love and support that they need to be who they are. Anything else?
Humanize trans people.
Yes.
Yes.
That's it. Humanize. We are all human.
That's real. I got something. I don't like to do shit like this, you know what I'm saying? But our bios aren't up, right?
No, they are not. And I was going to tell y'all once we got out, go ahead and send them to me because I'm going to archive this on the website with your bios and stuff. So send me your bio and picture. And Ricky, don't give me that bullshit. I'm trash. I ain't got no bio. Write something.
Word. Well, in that case, then I was just going to shout out my Tumblr. I actually just wrote a post last week, finally put all my feelings together about all of this, like coming out and stuff like that. And it's Mr. Mister, not Mr. Mr. The whole word, masculinity, at .tumblr.com. I just changed the name of it, but that's the new one, Mr. Masculinity.
And thank you, Yaya and Ray, for telling your story, because it takes courage for you to just be who you are, courage that most of us will never know. And Ray, I had no idea that you were not even fully, what's the word I'm looking for?
Transition?
Out?
Or that people didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
That it was only like 3 people in the world who knew. So I appreciate you taking the time to come on and to educate and to tell your story.
No doubt, no doubt. The social media people know, like my followers and shit. But yeah, just 3 family members and probably about 5 of my friends so far. But I'm telling them all,
Well, good stuff. Thank you all for your time. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week around 8 o'clock. We be on CP time, but whatever.
That's all good. We doing it.
Follow the Twitter. You will see when the link goes live. Bye.
Peace.
Bye.